Hello, and this is the after show afterthoughts of our town hall. Two of my guests, Franz Jones and Deborah Fudge RHEM, are accompanying me to this evening to this video of it. Julius Hollingsworth was there, Brenda Shipp was there, Nina Reel was there, and they all had to go off and do their different things. But we will just recap a little bit of what we were talking about on the town hall and talking about I call it the pink elephant in the room, how the arts can really do something to assist the healing of all these occurrences that we have had here recently, recent occurrences. And then I talked about occurrences from decades ago that people are still trying to heal about. And so Franz and Debbie had really some good points to make. Recap some of the things we were talking about, isolation and all that. And then Fudge, talk about some of the things that you talked about when you were teaching, what you did with students. So why don't you start up there?
Well, I mean, I just basically spoke about the differences that we see nowadays with the younger generation that we have, as opposed to what those of us that are a bit older, what we experienced when we were young. I talked about the fact that out of the 50s into the 60s, out of the civil rights movement, out of the Vietnam War movement, people had a chance to try to come together. I think that there was an effort to heal. In terms of the arts, I think that the arts were very definitely a part of healing. Small theater companies grew up. Some celebrities founded theater companies. I remember in Washington, D.C., for example, they had the D.C. Black Rep. I remember that, of course, NEC was born in the late 50s, early 60s, out of a need for African-American performers to coalesce over an idea of their art being established and furthered. I think of the Vietnam era when Jane Fonda became very politicized. And she had a show that she toured called, what was it? I think Save the Army, something. But she had a number of people, Ben Vereen was in it, a number of other performers, and they toured the country. Nowadays, because of the isolation, because younger people are all on their social media, they're on their phones, they're on their devices, you don't have people coalescing over an idea and using art to forward the conversation. And that's a shame. That's the loss that I feel. In some of the work that I've done with younger people, I've noticed that they don't seem to want or are able to work together for a singular goal. Everybody wants to work on their own thing, so to speak. And that's what I kind of talked about in the conversation.
And Debbie, you talked about when you were teaching, you've been retired for a little bit now, but when you were teaching, when something would happen in the community or a national disaster would occur, and what was the scenario that you would set up with your students?
Well, one of the things that we would try to do is to make sure that we reached out to the parents to let them know that because of this incident, we were going to talk to the children. And so every teacher would set up their room differently. I always find that taking the children away from the desks and maybe forming a circle with chairs or having them sit on the floor gave it a more relaxed, informal atmosphere and allowed the children to speak their mind. So most of the time, I would introduce whatever the issue or problem was, and I would let the children talk. And I would give them time to talk among themselves, give them a few minutes to talk among themselves. And then I would then say, okay, so now we're going to talk together. And I would do a lot of listening. And listening meant that I wanted to, because while I'm listening to the students, I'm also getting an idea of what is maybe scary to them, what is making them angry, what is upsetting them. And I can have a better relationship with them and their parents about what we should do. So I do feel that this is where the arts is very important, because I've always felt that the arts is a wonderful expression of how we can get our feelings out. So as far as having music, art, dance, drama, spoken word now, instead of calling it poetry, we sort of say spoken word,
Yeah.
all of those kinds of activities can help students. And today, because we're also, you know, dealing with social media, and social media is so strong in many of these children's lives. You, as the other adult in their life, you want to be able to have a frank conversation with them. And to me, that's what I would do. And I always found it to be very, very helpful to the students, as well as to the teachers, and as well as to the parents who sometimes didn't know how they should bring up a topic to their children. And when you say, well, this is a problem that all the children are having, all the children are talking about it, it helped in many ways for us to have an even better, deeper, more meaningful conversation with the students.
This, you know, I think there is a bit of, it's not a full flown responsibility of everything that we do, but we are so influential in the arts. And people, you know, like I said, one little phrase, where's the beef? Everybody remembers that little lady. She had so much influence on that burger and hamburgers and where we are now. And then there are people who make millions of dollars. They don't have any influence on us at all. So we do have that. If we can turn that into a very positive kind of thing, so that, you know, we are aiding and assisting people to maybe come back to this point and time of where we would gather and join thoughts and have conversations. And Franz made a suggestion that the next town hall, which will be next month, and we try to find younger people, younger than 30, to come in and just talk. And I want to ask them, what is it that they would like to see that's different from what they're functioning now? What would make them comfortable around people and communicate a little bit more? It's so very interesting. The organizations that I belong to, some of them are organizations that have middle-aged to older women and the seniors in them. And they're wanting to reach out to younger people. So, you know, you get the younger people in there and you say, okay, what is it that you want to be in this organization? What can we offer you? They have no idea. They you know, I said, well, you know, we have programs, but these programs are geared to those of us who've been in the business for 20, 30 years. So you've been in the business 5 years. What do we have to talk about? You can be mentored, you can be guided, but our conversation is this. So we've got to find something that's fill that gap, because there's a big gap, and they feel isolated and alone. And we're over here doing the things that we have done over the decades of how to comfort one another. And they don't know that. It's in their communications. It's how I deal with them every single day. I had a woman call up on the phone. The phone rang. I picked up the phone and I said, good afternoon. She said, who am I speaking to? I said, to whom were you calling? And who are you? And then she realized, oh, I should probably introduce myself. You know, I think we've just
got a little lost.
Yeah, we got
a little lost.
We did. And we need to, you know, put light on the path and help them through the path. Help them get more comfortable with, you know, what I think is traditionalism. And they don't have to do what we did, but they do have to do some things that do work socially. Their social skills need some enhancement.
To say the least.
Yes.
Yes. So that's, you know, where we were. That was this town hall. And it'll be the next one, and we'll keep on talking about different things. It's wonderful to have the guests, and we talk about the arts and what they've done, but also the arts. We have to bring the arts into today.
Absolutely.
And what, you know, what we can do today, you know, to make the arts more relevant. And I'm not just talking about commercials. I'm not talking about people making money. You know, we sit down and we ask the audience what they want. You know, that's a commercial audience. I'm talking about us really reaching out. And you know, what was the name of the organization? I always forget it, Fudge. that we used to go to. They were recovering addicts in it.
Oh, Phoenix House, we used
Phoenix
to,
House.
yes,
Yes. Phoenix House, Liberty House. We used to go and listen to
Yes.
poetry. Phoenix
yes,
House. Those things, I was amazed. I mean, at first we were sneaking because we was too young to be in some of the Phoenix House programs, but we would sit there and look at the life experiences that they would share.
Yes.
And it really did guide me as to what I did not want to do in
True.
my life.
No, you learned
Well,
life
years
lessons
ago,
from
they
them.
used to have that thing they showed on television, and you can get tapes of it. Scared Straight. You remember
Scared
that?
straight.
Yes.
And
Scared
what is it?
Straight.
Tough love. Tough
Tough
love.
Love was the other
Yes.
one. Yeah, but they
So
used to
now
put
you get these survival shows where everybody's doing everything naked or half naked, and and I thought, well, okay, if that's where your interest lies, but but they're all having nervous breakdowns on a beach somewhere, or in a jungle somewhere. And I thought to myself, now it's not me, but it just doesn't
Yeah.
appeal, it's just me. Just doesn't
No, that's
appeal.
not the direction that
No.
we want. Franz, I think you're
Franz.
Franz.
Franz, I'm so sorry. Franz, what you said was great. Having another generation or different generations of young people come in and talk to us. I know that I belong to an organization called DKG, and we worked on a gratitude quilt for the frontline workers. And we worked at Manhattanville College, which is in Purchase, New York, with students between the ages of 18 and 22. Now, I'm not familiar with that age anymore at all. So I was like, what will we have in common? So one of the things that I tried to do was start with some conversation starters, and just to get them to open up, but also by working on the quilt, that was a nice informal way to kind of bring in conversations, because I really don't know what to say to young people today and to find out about what they're doing. But because their hands were busy and they had to sit there and kind of, be part of this group with myself and the other member of my group, and we're definitely decades away from them. It was very interesting that the conversation starters that I got them talking about were things that I was very surprised by some of their answers. So I would love for us to do something like that, to bring young people in, different generations, if we could find some, teenagers and some young people and maybe even younger, to talk to us about what's on their mind, what are the things that make them, what do they love about life, and what are some of the things that they would like to aspire to, and to really have those kinds of conversations with them so that we'll know what they're thinking about when it comes to their future. Because Franz, as you said, this is their future,
Yes, the world belongs to them. And I would love to have an indication as to what they think that they want to do with the world.
I find it very interesting. One of the things that you were talking about, Fudge, quilting. I actually have a quilt that one of my aunts gave me. She made one for me, she made one for my brother, and one for my older brother who's passed away. I have the one that she gave me. My brother has his. But quilting and the fact that people got together and did that, it was communal, and they talked amongst themselves. There's two things. There was a movie, How to Make an American Quilt.
To Make an American Quilt.
There was also a Broadway show that I know an actress was in, Quilters.
Yes, Quilters.
Ah, yes, I
there
remember
was a musical called Quilters.
Yes.
And it put me in mind of both of them. It might be nice to be able to do something like that for our programming, Lenny, in terms of essence of.
Yes.
To take a piece like Quilters or How to Make an American Quilt, take a scene or something and get some actors of different ages and different types to do a scene of that and actually have something as they're working on it. And
to reach out. Yeah.
Right.
This is where the grants are really good, because we have in our organization, FUDGE, as too, we have a range, but we don't have a range of different types. Right. A range of age, but a lot of the types are the same. Yeah. So to be able to offer a stipend to a young actor to come in and work with us, to be able to ask a young person and their parents to come in and participate. That might help us also in one of the things that we want to do. We've got to try to think of some things to assist ourselves in the healing. It's wonderful. We all want to be in a hit show. Everybody wants to be in a hit television show. I mean, the networks canceled 17 shows between.
I saw that.
Unbelievable. I've never heard of anything like that, which indicates, there's some things that are not working. There's some communications that are not working. Well, then, that's really great, but maybe the reason it is that it's not communicating and not touching something that people want to see. And maybe that's something that we can help and assist in finding that one point that they're interested in,
Yes.
interested in,
Yes, I think that will work, because I think if you take an activity that we all are doing together, first of all, we're not saying, well, we're the older people and we have all of the knowledge and the answers, and the young people aren't going like, oh gosh, when is this hour over? They really were engaged. And I have to say that some of the answers that I got from them, I was very surprised how they talked about teachers who inspired them and what those teachers did. And it was just amazing that that I thought, oh boy, they're just going to give us those one word answers, like yes,
Woo!
no,
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'm okay. They really got into it. So that would be a wonderful way to bring young people in and to let them know we're listening. We're not only just speaking to you, we're not preaching to you, but we are listening to you.
Yes.
And if we in some way can help, we would love to do that also.
Exactly. I remember Julius said, I'm quoting him now, paraphrasing. He said he was talking to a young man in the arts, and the young man was telling him some of the things he was doing. And Julius said, well, that's different. He said, yes, because it's not for you, it's for us. We're creating for us now. And I went, well, good for you.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely correct.
You should. You create,
absolutely correct.
But include us in so we can understand what you're creating, because I'm not understanding all of it,
Right.
Yeah, but yes, it is. It is for you. It is for you. Well, with that said, I've now, we could go on forever. So I'm not going to keep you all long, because, it is one of those things where, lo and behold, we have been here. We had to start one thing over again because of a 15-minute interview, but we went back and I'm going to see how that's going to happen, when I go to put it up later on tonight. But we've been very, very fortunate. Hopefully next week I have a couple of guests who are tentative, but believe me, if I don't, I'm going to be calling y'all on the phone. We're going to continue this town hall.
We do it for you, Lenny. We love you. And we know that it is always something positive to be a part of. So if you need us, call us.
Thank you. I love you all dearly. Thank you all, audience, for looking at the after show afterthoughts here, and it is from the town hall. You all hold on for me just a minute after I sign off, but I'd like to say thank you to the audience, and we will see you again on the radio. Talk to you soon. All righty, Lennie Godfrey signing off. Bye-bye.